Hey everybody, it's Sharmel. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. So today y'all, I am back with a makeup tutorial. I am super late with this video, but never late, but better late than never. I do my little get ready with me's and I see the comments. You guys have been asking me to do like an in-depth makeup tutorial for a while. I actually tried filming this not too long ago. I didn't like the footage, so we are going to try this again. So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys how I do just like my basic kind of go-to makeup look. Sometimes I'll add a little more or tweak it a little bit depending on the occasion or what I'm doing, but for the most part, this is my standard makeup look. So let's get right into it.
The sun shines on all of my glory. My flaws don't look so bad at all. What was I so afraid of?
Alright, so my face is already cleaned and prepped. Skincare should always be your first step when it comes to doing your makeup. You always want to make sure your face is clean. Always just make sure to take care of your skin and prioritize your skin first. My skin tends towards the drier end, so I do like kind of a thick moisturizer so that my face stays hydrated underneath my makeup. And first I'm going to go in with primer. Primer is also an important step in your makeup routine. I feel like it's all a part of the prepping process, so making sure your skin is clean, hydrated, and then properly primed. So this is my go-to primer. This is the E.L.F. Power Grip Primer. I have been using this for at least like 3-4 years now. I've been using this for a minute. It's super affordable. In general, this runs you about $10 and they last pretty long. I'm gonna smooth it into my skin, and I'm pressing too. Like, I'm not just wiping it, I'm really pressing it into my skin as I'm smoothing, because we want to make sure that the primer sticks to the skin and we want to make sure that the makeup sticks to the primer. Just take another pump. Oddly enough, I'm going to move on to my lips. So if you watch my get ready with me's, like my little short get ready with me's, I'm sure you guys always see like the dark liner around the lips, and I feel like that is a staple in my makeup routine now. And per usual, you guys, I am gonna do my best to link everything, but these Sachue lip tints are everything. It's basically, I mean, it's a lip liner tint. You can use it as a lip liner, a lipstick, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I typically use it as a lip liner. I'm the type of person, when I go out, I don't really like reapplying liner. I will reapply a gloss, but I'm not really big on reapplying liner. And so this just kind of gives your lips a little, I should be doing this while I'm talking. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to use it and then we're gonna talk about it. So first, I got Carmex on my lips, so I'm gonna go ahead and just take a napkin and pat that off. And they're super easy to use. I'm using the color number 5 in Clover. This is the darkest color. I do wish they would come out with a color that's a smidget darker. Depending on your skin tone, especially if you are more of a deeper tone, I feel like this won't give you as much definition. This is what it looks like, y'all. You definitely want to make sure your lips are dry. And I do this first because I want to give it time to sit on my lips for as long as possible. And I'm basically just gonna line my lips like I would do with a regular lip pencil. But like I was saying, I'm not the one to really like reapply liner. And so this is just gonna give me like a tinted liner. And I'm not gonna say it stays all day, but you can definitely get some good usage out of it. Obviously, like if you doing a lot with your mouth, a lot of drinking, it will fade or possibly rub off, but I feel like it lasts a little longer than if I were to just do a regular lip liner. So this is what we have. So again, this is the color Clover. I also have it in Mauve and Get Ready. Sometimes I'll go in and apply these to my inner lip to give me like just a nice little tinted lip, and I just throw gloss on it. So now moving on to foundation. So my go-to foundation is the E.L.F. Flawless Satin Foundation. It is a medium coverage foundation. This has also been my go-to foundation for like the last 3 or 4 years. I'll mix in or try different foundations in between, but this is usually like what I always resort back to. I absolutely love this foundation. I love the texture. It makes your skin look really like just buttery in my opinion, and I love that look. It is a medium coverage, like I said. I feel like when it comes to your makeup routine, I mean, we all need different coverage levels depending on our skin, the texture, hyperpigmentation, and things of that nature. Since I don't deal with a lot of like hyperpigmentation and stuff, I typically like to go for like a medium or a low coverage foundation, just because personally I feel like when you use a bunch of like full coverage products, it just looks like too much. It looks really heavy in my opinion on my skin. So yes, I do love this medium coverage foundation. It just evens out my skin just enough to make it consistent, but it doesn't look super heavy. Now when it comes to applying your foundation, you can either use a sponge or a brush. I typically use either or depending on what I want to do that day. So if you use a sponge, this is a dampened sponge. I always dampen my sponges. If you want like a softer, like sheer coverage, go with the sponge. If you want something like more full coverage, go with the brush, because the sponge is going to sheer it out and the brush builds the coverage. So it depends on what you like. For the sake of this video, I am going to just use my foundation brush, and I normally just take 1 to 2 pumps directly on the brush, and I normally just dab it over my skin first, and then I'm going to start blending it out. And when I'm putting on my foundation, I'm not wiping it. I'm basically like, I'm doing like short swipes. So I'm picking it up and pressing it and blending it down. I'm not doing like a, I know some people do that, but that's just not my jam. Y'all, I also been like experimenting with different ways to do my makeup here lately, but I feel like it always comes out looking the same. Like sometimes I'll do my eyebrows first and then I'll do foundation. Sometimes I'll do foundation first and then do my eyebrows. Honestly, it really depends on the mood I'm in, but here lately I have been doing my eyebrows first. So I just kind of threw myself off a little bit by putting on this foundation first. But yeah, make sure you bring it down to your neck too. Make sure you pick that scarf up and get your hairline too. And then sometimes I'll go in with my sponge if I want to shear anything out. Like if it's looking too cakey or too heavy, I just go in with my sponge and just kind of, you know, shear it out a little bit. Like I said, I love this foundation. Again, it's super affordable, and just it looks like my skin, but just kind of in like a little more elevated. I do want to try something new because I have been using this for a while. I did try a different foundation this summer, which I like. It's the Urban Decay Face Bond. I was using this this summer as well. This is a little lighter in coverage, which was perfect for the summer, but since we're heading into fall, you know, I can get away with a little heavier foundation here or there. So I do kind of want to try something different this upcoming season, so we'll see. I forgot to tell y'all what color I use, but this is the E.L.F, again, the Flawless Satin Foundation, and I am the color 52, which is nutmeg, and it has neutral undertones. All right, so next we're gonna move on to concealers. So I have a few favorite concealers that I use. So I love the Too Faced Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. It's a little raggedy looking, and this is in the color Butterscotch. I either use Butterscotch or Warm Sand. I think that's the other one, but this is one of my go-tos. This does tend to like a more expensive concealer. I feel like this runs you about $30, maybe something like that. But I do think a good dupe for that, that's a little more affordable, is the Juvia's Place concealer. These are typically like $10 to $15 max, and for this one for Juvia's Place, I use the color 12. My other favorite concealer that I have been using for years, I've been using this for years too. The other one that I've been using for years is just, if you're a OG makeup girl, you know about this, like back in the day makeup. It is the MAC Pro Long Wear Concealer, and I use NW35. And then I also like the Tarte Shape Tape, and I use this in Tan Deep Honey. I don't use all of these concealers all the time, but these are my go-to concealers. For the first round of concealer, we are literally just kind of like doing a natural conceal and highlight, and I typically use my Too Faced concealer for that, or I use the Juvia's Place. So I'm gonna go in with that concealer. First, I start with my under eye. Sometimes I just apply it to the center and to like the outer corner to give you like that more snatched look. I feel like that was in for a while, but here lately I've been kind of reverting back to applying my concealer how I used to do it. So yeah, I start in my inner corner and just drag it down the side of my nose a little bit, and then just bring it over like that. Same thing on the other side. Then I also like to apply some of my Cupid's bow on my chin, just a little down the bridge of my nose to highlight that. So back in the day, y'all, I used to, or I see people do this too, like they apply it to just like the center of their forehead, but over the years I've learned to apply it basically in between your eyebrows. Now this is also going to vary depending on the size of your forehead, but I find that when I used to put it like in the center of my forehead, as I would blend, I would just kind of blend it out, and I feel like it would, so you're basically highlighting, you're bringing light and attention to these places where you apply the highlighter. So when I used to apply it like to the center of my forehead, and once I would blend it out, I just felt like my entire forehead would just be bright, and it would make my forehead look bigger in my opinion. So over the years, I've learned to just apply it kind of to like the inner part of my eyebrow, and then once I go and blend it out, it's gonna naturally spread outward. If you have a big forehead, y'all, I don't have like a huge forehead. I don't think I have a big forehead. But if you do have a bigger forehead, I would recommend applying your concealer lower, because again, once you spread it out, it's just going to spread all over your forehead. You're going to draw attention to that area. And now I'm going to do a little contouring, bronzing. I don't really consider it contouring because I don't like it like super sharp, but I do just like to warm up the face a little bit. So I'm going to go in with another E.L.F product. I use a lot of affordable products too. And this is the E.L.F Halo Glow Beauty Wand Contour, and I have it in the color Tan Deep, and it comes like in a little spongy applicator. And so I usually kind of use my what is this called, a sideburn baby hair thing kind of as a guide. So basically like where that stops, I'm gonna apply it right there, and I normally do like 2 dots. And then I'm gonna go in with like an angled fluffy brush and just blend it out. And when I blend it, I like to blend kind of upward instead of dragging it down. You have to remember, whichever way you blend or whichever way you move your brush, that is where it's going to spread the product to. So you have to be mindful of how you're actually like applying the product. So I stay kind of like centered to where I put it, but I also kind of flick it up a little bit. And it gives me like the perfect little bronziness, not too deep. Sometimes I blend it up to my temple a little bit, but yeah, you can see the difference. If you ever feel like you apply too much makeup or it's too much, take your foundation brush and whatever is left on it, just kind of go over it to kind of blend it out. See, it's almost like a eraser. That's how I think about it. Now I'm gonna take this, whatever's left over, I just kind of hit my jawline, chisel that out a little bit. Sometimes I'll go on my forehead, but I'm not adding any more product. I'm just kind of using whatever is left over on the brush. Now for blush, I'm gonna go in with a liquid blush, and I love these LA Girl Soft Matte Cream blushes. I've been using these for a couple years too. I have it in a few colors. I have Hot Shot, Kiss Up, and Blissful. And where's my other one? Because that's my other favorite. Oh, this is Grace. So I'm more of like a peachy, pinky, orangey type of blush girl. Grace is my jam. It's like a soft peach pink kind of color. Blissful is super orange. When I want like a really warm face, I'll go in with Blissful. And then Kiss Up is definitely straight up pink. And then Hot Shot is kind of like an in-between of all of these. I think I'm gonna go in with Hot Shot just because, like I said, I think it's a good mixture of all of them. Sometimes these do separate, so shake it up a little bit. So these are super pigmented, let me say that as well, because when I first started using this I was like, oh my god. But yeah, these are super pigmented. So what I've been doing here lately is I'll just apply a little bit to the back of my hand first. I used to just go in directly on my face. Sometimes I still do that just because I've been working with this product for a while, so I know how it works. But if this is your first time trying this cream blush, I recommend applying it to your hands first because it can definitely be a lot. And these are also super affordable. I'm gonna have them linked down below too. So now I'm just gonna go in with just like a small fluffy brush and pick up some of that product and then just apply it to my cheek. So I basically kind of follow the same line that I did the bronzer, like right on top of it, but I just bring it more down to like the balls of my cheek. And I feel like the blush has gotten really popular, I feel like, over the last couple of years, and with it becoming more popular, I feel like there's been a lot of critique in how to apply blush. Y'all see how pigmented that is? But yeah, this is how I apply mine. Some people only apply it up here. That's cute sometimes, but I do like the color and the warmth like towards the center of my face a little bit and then kind of up. I don't like it just here, so I still apply mine to like the balls of my cheek and then I blend it up. And like I said, it's super pigmented, and when you got too much color, just go in with your foundation brush and just blend it out, and it just softens it. But I love this. It's so pretty, y'all. And now I'm gonna go back in with that dampened sponge, and I'm gonna use the angled side. I typically buy my sponges off of Amazon, and they come in just like a pack like this. I do have a lot of these products also linked on my Amazon storefront, which will be linked down below as well. So I'm gonna take my sponge and I'm gonna start blending out my concealer now. So when I do the concealer, y'all, again, we're not wiping. I'm basically just gonna do like little dabs like this and then kind of rotate it and move it to where I want the product to go. So I start in the center and I'm dabbing and I'm bringing it down and out. Sometimes I feel like I'm not gonna say product doesn't matter. You definitely have to find products that work well for you, your skin type, and whatever you need, I feel like, within your makeup routine. But a lot of it is also dependent on technique. I feel like once you understand the technique of doing the makeup, you can essentially use any product. Like I said, I have all these different concealers, and I can make them all work because I understand the technique of how to apply my makeup for what works for me. I'm not a makeup artist, I'm not a professional, but I'm just talking about doing my makeup in a way that I feel compliments me in a way that I like. For my top lip, I do try to keep it just concentrated right above my lip. Sometimes I'll bring it up like towards the nostrils just a little bit, but we just want to keep it concentrated right there. Because remember, like I said, the concealer is going to naturally spread. And I also didn't mention this before, but before you start blending your concealer, make sure you allow it to dry down a little bit. When I was first learning how to do my makeup, I would apply it and just wipe it, and I feel like it would be kind of patchy, or it just wouldn't be even. And that's because you have to allow the product to dry down so that it actually sticks to your skin. If you're applying it and then just wiping it right away, you're essentially just wiping the makeup off. So allow it to dry down first for a little bit. That's why I applied the concealer and then I went in with my other products while that was drying down, and now I'm blending the concealer. My chin, again, we're keeping it concentrated. We don't want to bring it out because it spreads really easily. When it comes to my nose, I don't even blend this too much. I just kind of softened it and like just pat down my nose like so. And then for my forehead, like I was telling y'all before, I used to spread it out a lot. So now when I do blend my forehead concealer, I'm really, again, keeping it concentrated right in that center. I'm honestly kind of bringing it downwards, and then I'll go in and kind of just soften the edges and bring it up just a little bit. Now imagine if I would have started with the concealer right here. Once I started blending it, again, it would have blended all around. So just like that. Then going back in with our foundation brush. And just want to soften the edges. And just so that it blends seamless. You don't, like, you want these areas to be highlighted. You want them to kind of be the focus point. But you don't want it to be harsh. You don't want it to look like foundation, blush, concealer. Like, you want it to kind of gradually blend into each other. And that's why going back in with your makeup brush, with your foundation brush is really important. And you're just gonna like soften the edges so that everything blends together. See how much better that looks just for me hitting the edges with my foundation brush. So if you want, you could stop here. This is a great base, but personally I like a brighter under eye, so I'm gonna go in with my second coat of concealer. This is when I usually go in with my Tarte or my MAC. So I'm gonna go in with Tarte today. I love MAC, this is my girl, but she comes in a pump, so I'm gonna have to spread it out and do all that. I don't feel like doing all that right now, so I'm gonna just go in with the Tarte because she does have a wand. This is a little brighter. This is also a little cooler too, so I'm gonna go in with this. A dab of this literally just to the inner corner right there. We're not gonna apply it like we did before, blending it all out, because this is just more for like a pop of highlight. I also realized I didn't conceal my eyebrows. My eyelids. So I'm gonna put a little concealer on my eyelids too. While that's drying down, I'm gonna move on to my brows. Brow maintenance is also key in getting a good brow. You wanna make sure like they're cleaned up. Mine could be cleaned up a little bit, but we're gonna let it rock for today. So first I'm gonna go in with the brow glue from NYX. And this is just a eyebrow gel. And it's gonna just put your eyebrows into place. So sometimes I apply this before, sometimes I apply it after, depending on my mood. But I'm just gonna brush my eyebrows into place. You can honestly do this before you do like your foundation too. And typically for my eyebrow shape, I just kind of brush up and over. I used to try to do that laminated look, but I just feel like that don't work for me. It ain't me. I do kind of like a mix of like a 2016 brow and a little bit of like a laminated fluffy brow. But your brows are your brows. You got to work with what you got. So this is my OG go-to eyebrow pencil. This is the Benefit Precisely My Brow in the color number 5. Been using this for years. Love her. I love her because she's super, like, the actual pencil itself is super like fine. It's super small, so it really gives you like hair. It's not too thick. Like, you want your brow to look like a brow. So I normally start by I'm gonna go and underline the bottom part of my brow to give it definition. And then sometimes my little points can get my arch can get a little off. So I'm gonna just go in lightly, really light, like just like this, y'all. Real soft. I'm not pressing, adding a lot of pressure to the pencil, just real soft. But I'm gonna do this to just kind of define my arch a little bit. Another affordable brow option is from LA Girl. It's their brow pencil. Y'all, it's kind of worn off, so I can't remember like the exact name, but I'll try to link it. But they also make a really small, fine brow pencil. I'm gonna just go in and fill it in just very slightly. Now I'm gonna go in with some concealer to carve out the bottom. And take a little flat brush, and I take my brush to the wand. I'm gonna just carve out that underbrow. So I'm gonna let my underbrow concealer dry down a little bit, and now I'm gonna start blending out that highlighting concealer that we added to the corner. And this one, I pretty much concentrate it to the center. I don't drag it out too far. Also blend out my eyelids. And I'm just blending that eyelid concealer into the underbrow concealer. Okay, so now it's time to set all the concealer, y'all. And I have been using the Fenty loose setting powders for years now. They have been my go-tos, my OGs. I do have my eye on some new ones, but I'm trying to get rid of all of these first because it's really easy to hoard makeup products and don't buy nothing else until you finish what you already got. So I have Honey, which is golden, but it's more of like a warm, deep golden. And then I also have Banana, which also has like a more yellow golden undertone, but I feel like it's a lighter yellow golden tone. And I have Cashew, which is like neutral. So as a brown girl, depending on like how deep you are, finding the right like highlighting setting powder can be a little challenging sometimes, because sometimes they can be too light, which give you an ashy look, or they just are too dark, they don't give you that brightening effect at all. I was doing Banana for a little bit, but I've been back in my Cashew bag. This is the neutral color. I think she's like the perfect highlight for me. So now I'm gonna go in with one of these, like, I don't know what these are called, but I'm gonna go in with one of these. It's the angled one, a pressing, what are these called? A little, dang, why can't I think of what these called? But I also get these off of Amazon. And I'm gonna take my powder and I'm gonna press it just like that. And I have a napkin down here, so I'm gonna also dab off any excess so it's not too thick. And I'm literally gonna press it into the corner. We're not wiping, we're not even dabbing, we're like pressing it in because you want to set the concealer in place. So that's what I'm gonna do now. And I'm pressing it and moving it outward so that I get all of this area. And I'm not necessarily baking, because I feel like when you bake it's a little heavier. I'm just pressing that product right where I want it to go. It's super important to set your makeup. Any type of liquid or cream product that you add to your face, you want to set it with a powder. That is what's going to keep it in place. If you don't, it might look good for a minute, but as you're out and about, as you sweat, as your skin produces like any oil throughout the day, it's going to make the product move. That's why priming and again setting your products are so important, because that is what again keeps it in place all day. Now I'm gonna go ahead and set the rest of my highlighted area. So after that, and kind of bring it around the corner of my nostrils up towards the other part. Get my chin. And just how I did the concealer with my forehead, I'm not blending it up, y'all. You're gonna have a big light spot on your forehead if you blend it too high. And also get the bridge of my nose. Then I'm gonna go in with my sponge. I get a little product on the sponge. Set my eyelids. Sometimes, y'all, if I want like a more chiseled contour look, I'll go in with just a little bit and kind of carve out right underneath that bronzer. So since we applied cream blush and cream bronzer, we also want to set those areas too. So now I'm gonna go in with bronzers, and these are my go-to. I love the Morphe Glamour Bronze in Trailblazer. I need a new one of these. This has also been my girl for a while too. And then I also have Juvia's Place Bronzy in Deep Dark. And this is how these look. So this is normally my favorite because it's not too dark. I like her. I like Juvia's Place, but sometimes it can get a little too dark, I feel like, for me and the type of look that I go for. I'm going to use another like really dense angle brush and just press that over where we applied the bronzer. I also like to use this bronzer on my eyelids. So if I'm not wearing eyeshadow, just to give my eyelid a little definition. This gives you like I did something to my eyes, but not really. I go in with the bronzer and just kind of buff out my eyelid in the crease a little bit. I have been kind of getting back into eyeshadows a little bit though, because for a few years I just wasn't doing eyeshadow looks at all, and I'm still not doing like serious eyeshadow looks, like with cut creases and, you know, jewels and stuff. But I will put a little color on my lid every now and then. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with the all over face powder and set my entire face. And for that, I'm gonna be using the Cover FX. This is their Pressed Mineral Foundation in the color D2. So it's just a pressed powder, and I usually go in with like a flat brush and press that into my, so that's the thing, y'all see that? Oh, so let me tell you about this powder. So hold on, y'all, because now I'm stressing. Oh my god. Cover FX is like a oldie product. I used to use this like 2015, 2016, and I used to love this product, and it kind of fell off. And then like a couple years ago, I seen it on sale at Ulta on the website, and I was like, I haven't used this in a while, like let me repurchase it. And so I repurchased it, and then I ran out and it wasn't on sale at Ulta no more on the website, and I'm like, dang, I gotta get some more of this product. So I just did some research. I went to the Cover FX website, and they still sell them. I haven't seen these like on Ulta or Sephora, but if you go to Cover FX, you can find this product. However, they did kind of do like a rebrand, and with their rebranding, they changed their colors. They changed the names of their colors. I guess they reformulated some of the products, and so I have this. Oh my god, that is really driving me nuts. Yeah, based on the color that I used to use, they have like a conversion chart, I guess, so that you can find your new color. And so that's what I did. I used that chart based on the color that I used to use to get my new color. And I still love the products, but I do feel like the colors are a little different. They're a little off. So this one is a little deeper than what I remember my other one to be. Like y'all see when I dabbed it on my forehead, it pretty much looked like bronzer a little bit. And so I say all right to say, I love this product. I loved it back in the day. I still love it now, but I definitely need to repurchase in a different color. This has been working for the summertime in this color, but I know for a fact that this is not gonna work for me in the winter. So I'll probably repurchase it in a color, a different shade, but I do still love this product. So y'all know I use the LA Girl cream blushes, and I also have some of their powder blushes. This is Just for Fun, which is like a orangey color. I usually pair this with like the orange cream blush, and then I also have this pink shade. These are also super pigmented. And then I also have this Milani blush, that Coral Cove, that I have been using for years, but it just won't run out, and I love this color as well. So I think for my blush today, I'm gonna do like a little combo of these two. Literally just dab in my brush. I like a good little fluffy brush for my blush. I'm just dab it on. Warm up the cheeks. So now I'm gonna go in and do my first round of setting spray. I don't know if I want to use the Morphe or the Urban Decay All Nighter spray. Let's just do Urban Decay All Nighter spray. And then lastly, I'm gonna go in with this NARS translucent, this pressed translucent powder. And I'm gonna go in with just like a small, medium, like really dense, fluffy brush. And it's gonna kind of like dust away that excess powder. I also like to press this over my eyebrows, because I don't know, sometimes the brows just get a little oily and I don't know why. This is just kind of like a finishing powder for me. So any areas where I feel like I need to just kind of clean up or set a little more, I'll go in with this. And I feel like when I talk this out, when I film it, the process seems really long and kind of drawn out. But usually, y'all, when I do my face, it takes me maybe 20-25 minutes, 30 minutes max, just kind of depending. But yeah, for the sake of like a tutorial and talking it out, it does kind of get a little long-winded. But when I actually do this routine, it doesn't take too long. And then now I'm gonna go in with another round of setting spray. And so my all-time favorite setting spray, if you want it to last all day, is the Ben Nye Final Seal, y'all. Y'all can see I got a couple bottles and I'm out. I would prefer to use this, but because I ain't got none, y'all, I've been using this Morphe mattifying spray and my all-nighter spray. So y'all, I'm gonna just use a little bit of all of this to get it together. Okay, and lastly, we're just going to do liner and mascara, which I'll probably do off camera. I'm going just with a black eyeliner on my waterline at the bottom. This is from LA Girl, and it is their Glide gel liner. These glide on so smoothly. I also have it in white. And then y'all, haven't really been like a lash girl. Sometimes I'll do some lash clusters just on the corner of my eye, but here lately I haven't even been doing that. Usually when I do my makeup, y'all, add a little mascara and call it a day. That's what I'm gonna do. My favorite mascara is the Essence Lash Princess, but I need a new one. Love her. But y'all, I just got this little one, this Maybelline. This Maybelline, yeah. I was at Target the other day and I just grabbed it because I knew I needed some concealer. So, not concealer, I knew I needed some mascara. So yeah, I'm gonna just do my liner and mascara off camera. I'm also get dressed too, and then we can come back and finish the lips and close this video out. All right, y'all. So for the final step, you gotta do the lips. So this has been setting. Ideally, it should peel right off. But y'all, it's real subtle. Like I said, it just gives my lip a little definition. Sometimes if I don't apply it like smoothly, it could be a little patchy, or some areas may be a little darker. In those cases, I will just go in like with a lip liner and just clean it up a little bit. But honestly, that's it, and I love it. Like, this is just cute as is. If I could throw I can throw a clear gloss on it and be gone. But I'm gonna go ahead and do one of my like signature lip combos. So before I started using this liner thing, I will always go in with a dark brown lip gloss, and this one is the NYX Butter Gloss in the color Lava Cake. But I honestly feel like I don't really need it today. I'm gonna use this NYX Butter Gloss in the color Fortune Cookie, which is just like a really light pink, neutral pink kind of. I'll place a little of that in the center of my lips and just blend it out. And then I'm gonna go in with my fave, my all-time fave, which is the Fenty Heat and Hot Cherry. I love this. There's just a little bit of the Lava Cake to de-hit my corners, just a little bit. But that's it, y'all. This is my go-to makeup routine. Yeah, like I said, a few of y'all have been asking me for a while, and this is how it looks. I could throw on a sweatshirt and some jeans and it'll look cute. I could put on a nice gown or a dress and the look still eats. So absolutely love my go-to makeup look. And let me tell y'all something else. Because not even on the internet, but in real life, like when I get compliments on my makeup, or someone's always like, oh, I need to learn how to do my makeup. It is a learning process, you guys. The reason I'm able to do my makeup the way I can do it now, I don't wear makeup every day, but the reason I can get up and beat my face real quick if I need to is because of practice. Years of practice, me learning it. If you are learning how to do your makeup, you are gonna have to wear makeup every day, honestly. If not every day, you have to do it regularly. You can't wait until like a major event or you're going out to want to sit down and figure out how to do your makeup. You're gonna have to practice, you're gonna have to experiment. I follow the trends sometimes, but I feel like now I just kind of understand what compliments me, and I like what compliments me, so I kind of just stick to what I know and to what I feel comfortable in. But yeah, I say all that to say, y'all, you gotta practice. But yes, y'all, this is how it turned out. Super cute. But that is going to be it for this video, you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you beautiful people in my next video. Bye.